What organization are you guys with?
New Life.
Where does the money go?
We feed, clothe, and help needy families, ma'am.
It's a story that sounded all too familiar, probably because we already heard it last year.
It's the New Life Christian Ministries, man.
These groups of solicitors claim to be members of New Life Christian Ministries.
Where's New Life based out of?
Why?
Because I'd like to know if it's a real organization or if you're taking these people's money.
Go online. You'll see newlife.org.
So we did. newlife.org. That's a church in Massachusetts.
I'm just trying to find out if you're in any way affiliated with solicitors who would be collecting money down here in Fort Myers, Florida.
Nope. We also check newlifechristianchurch.org, and that's a church in New Hampshire.
And you do not have anyone from your church who would be collecting money here in Florida?
Neither church knew a thing about these Fort Myers solicitors who were supposedly collecting money on their behalf. But Fort Myers Police Captain Jay Rodriguez knew exactly who we were talking about.
This particular group, we've dealt with them before. It's an opportunity thing. They're there for a couple hours or until somebody calls the police, and then they leave.
In Fort Myers, panhandling is illegal. And in Lee County, any charity asking for donations at an intersection is required to have a permit.
Our sign says homeless and hungry.
Fort Myers panhandler Tim Gilligan is familiar with the law.
It's my last option, and it's against the law. You take me to jail. If I go to jail, at least I have shelter.
And he's familiar with the phony nonprofits.
They lie and they do whatever they have to do to manipulate the public to get their money, and that's what hurts us, the people that are actually out here trying to get food and get shelter.
So if you want to give back, who should you give to?
Give to those causes that you know and that you care about.
James Weininger runs Fort Myers nonprofit Hope Clubhouse, and he encourages people to give locally and to give directly to the agencies they want to support.
You don't know who's legitimate, so it's important to do some background and to know where those dollars are going.
Important advice.
Can you tell me who runs this organization?
I do, ma'am.
So your money doesn't end up going to fakers.
You run the organization.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your first and last name?
You don't need to know that, ma'am.
Looking for a quick buck.
Now, I'm sure you've seen firefighters collecting donations for their Fill the Boot campaign, so you might be asking, are they breaking the law too? No. While people cannot solicit in Fort Myers, they can solicit in Lee County if they follow county rules. That includes getting a permit, wearing a safety vest, and setting up warning signs 500 feet in advance of where they'll be soliciting. For the NBC2 Investigators tonight, I'm Rachel.
Viewers started messaging the NBC2 Facebook page yesterday, telling us they saw the same group of solicitors asking for money here at this intersection in North Naples. So I called the Collier County Sheriff's Office, and sure enough, a deputy was called here to this exact location yesterday afternoon. Same buckets, same story, same guys, different county.
Being that we're so close to the Lee County border, it kind of makes sense.
Michelle Tracy works in North Naples, and she spotted the same group of solicitors using the same made-up story 4 times this past week.
You know, he was kind of shaking the bucket. You know, do you want to help? You don't want to help the families. We need the help. Do you want to help? And I just kind of locked the door. I was a little freaked out by it.
Tracy thought the men seemed aggressive, but she didn't think too much of it until she watched our report.
What organization are you with?
New Life.
Where does the money go?
We feed, clothe, and help needy families, ma'am.
I was like, those are the same people, and it was just kind of mind-blowing.
The men claim to be members of New Life Christian Ministries.
Can you tell me who runs this organization?
I do, ma'am.
But the more questions we asked, the less answers we got.
You run the
Yes,
organization.
ma'am.
What is your first and last name?
You don't need to know that, ma'am.
And it didn't take us long to find out that the fundraisers were phonies, with no affiliation to any nonprofits.
To find out that they're not is a little scary.
And Michelle Tracy is not the only one who spotted these solicitors in North Naples. Someone else called Collier County Sheriff's Office yesterday afternoon to report 3 men asking drivers for money. A deputy came out to the intersection, but he did not write up a report.
It's off-putting. Makes you second guess it, because there's a lot of good people out there that do need help, and now you're not sure.
And in Collier County, soliciting is not allowed unless you have proper authorization or a permit, neither of which these solicitors have. Now, if you spot these guys in Lee or Collier County, I want to know about it. So email me at investigators@nbc-2.com.
When we pulled up, Lee County Sheriff's deputies were already there.
We're with NBC2. We've been doing so many stories on the panhandlers posing as nonprofits.
And so were these 2 men.
Excuse me? Can you tell me what happened?
Who didn't want to talk with me.
Who are you with?
LCSO would not confirm if these guys were claiming to be with New Life Christian Ministries. So we compared our previous stories, and we found they were carrying the same vests, had the same buckets, and were asking for money at the same intersection where we talked with this man a few weeks ago.
Where's New Life based out of?
Why?
Because I'd like to know if it's a real organization or if you're taking these people's money.
Go online. You'll see newlife.org.
But when we went to that website, we found a church in Massachusetts and a pastor who didn't know a thing about Fort Myers fundraisers who were supposedly collecting money on his behalf.
Now, a group matching this description was also reported to Collier County deputies this month. I've confirmed that in both Lee and Collier counties, soliciting is not allowed unless the person has a permit. Now,
busted. The NBC2 investigators were there as Fort Myers police took into custody panhandlers posing as members of a nonprofit. It's a story the NBC2 investigators have been following for months. Phony fundraisers claiming to be with New Life Christian Ministries, asking for money at busy intersections in Lee and Collier counties. This time, they were at US 41 and Boy Scout Drive. That's where NBC2 investigator Rachel Polanski is live with the exclusive details.
These guys are bold. Last night we were here as Lee County Sheriff's deputies questioned them and then let them go. This morning they came back here to the exact same spot. But Fort Myers police said enough is enough.
Same buckets, same vests, same story.
Who are you guys with?
It's the New Life Christian Ministries, man.
The NBC2 investigators have caught them over and over again.
Where does the money go?
We feed clothing and help needy families, ma'am.
Solicitors, pulling on your heartstrings, claiming to be members of New Life Christian Ministries.
Can you tell me who runs this organization?
I do, ma'am.
But when we ask them any questions about who they are,
you run the organization.
Yes,
what is your first and last name?
You don't need to know that, ma'am.
They don't have the answers.
They got rude and they walked away from you. And as soon as they did that, I knew, boom, they're not legit.
Fort Myers mom Joanna Chanot has also seen them asking for money at busy intersections. But it wasn't until she watched our stories that she realized they were phonies.
It made me think twice about giving money to people who are raising money.
So we reported these phony fundraisers to police because in both Lee and Collier counties, soliciting is not allowed unless the solicitor has a permit. And earlier today, the Fort Myers police took action.
There was no resistance, and basically they surrendered and said, we're sorry. But it has happened so many times, our officers decided, okay, this time we're taking you into custody.
did our reporting help bring this issue to the forefront?
Yes, actually, your reporting helped point out to the fact to many people that this is not a nonprofit. And it's a message that for several years the police department has been trying to get out.
A message that Joanna Chanot wants the panhandlers to remember.
They should be arrested because they're making it hard for people who are actually out there trying to raise money and trying to do the right thing.
You're not going to believe this, but just a few minutes before news time, a Collier County viewer sent me these photos. Take a look now. This is at US 41 in Immokalee Road. She says she saw another two panhandlers wearing the same vests, carrying the same buckets that says New Life Christian Ministries. Now, we are not stopping here. If you see these guys, we want to know about it. So give us a call and call your local police or local sheriff's department. Reporting live tonight, I'm Rachel Polanski.
What's the name of the organization you work with? New Life?
It felt like deja vu.
So who is it you say you work for now?
New Life Church, sir.
As I watched this police body camera video.
What organization are you guys with?
New Life.
Except the man asking for money, John Fry, was a lot more cooperative with police.
Where are they based out of?
We located out of Tampa.
Than he was with me.
Where's New Life based out of?
Why?
Because I'd like to know if it's a real organization or if you're taking these people's money.
Each of the 3 times I questioned these solicitors, they told me they were collecting money for New Life Christian Ministries. They gave FMPD officer Timothy McCormick the same story.
Your organization's been warned by me. By me alone, your organization, at least 10 times.
But officer, I promise you never did tell me.
It's not about that. Your organization shouldn't have allowed you all to come out here.
And soliciting in Lee and Collier counties is illegal, unless the solicitor has a permit.
My higher-up said to fix the problem, and I'm fixing the problem.
So John Fry and his counterpart Kenneth Bull were arrested, charged with violating a city municipal ordinance for asking, begging, or soliciting money on a public street.
They just gave us a ticket, officer.
Nope.
Why are you going to take us to jail?
Because the people I've given ticket to come right back out and do it again.
Now, in both Lee and Collier counties, there are laws in place to prevent panhandling. And while deputies and police officers have made 24 arrests this year, the majority of them were homeless people begging for money. The only 2 arrests involving fake fundraisers were the 2 we just showed you. And that happened the same month that NBC2 reported these guys to FMPD.
Did our reporting help bring this issue to the forefront?
Yes, actually, your reporting helped point out to the fact to many people that this is not a nonprofit. And it's a message that for several years the police department has been trying to get out. They come in, they fill up their buckets, they leave and go to another city.
So no arrests since July, but that doesn't mean they won't show up again. If you see phony panhandlers posing as nonprofits, call the police and then call us because we want to know about it.
Guess who's back? Panhandlers claiming to be with a church group begging for money. The NBC2 investigators have caught them in the act time after time at busy intersections in Lee and Collier counties, even though Fort Myers police arrested the two of them back in July. NBC2 investigator Rachel Polanski reports firsthand that it hasn't kept them away.
Our viewers spotted these fake fundraisers all over Lee County and called and emailed us to let us know. Now, I personally caught them soliciting money on MLK Boulevard and Ortiz Avenue in Fort Myers.
The NBC2 investigators have caught them 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the last year, and they always have the same MO. They wear yellow vests and they carry buckets that say they're collecting money for New Life Christian Ministries.
What organization are you guys with?
New Life.
But when I ask them questions about their church, they don't have answers.
Where's New Life based out of?
Why?
Because I'd like to know if it's a real organization or if you're taking these people's money.
And now it's gotten to the point that they literally run away when they see me. Check out what happened late Friday.
What are you running from? Ladies!
Soliciting is illegal in Lee and Collier counties without a permit.
Put your bucket down. Yes, sir. Put your bucket down, both of you. Put your hands on the car.
And just last month, we showed you this police body camera video of an FMPD officer arresting 2 of the phony fundraisers for violating the city's municipal ordinance.
Your organization's been warned by me alone, your organization, at least 10 times.
But they keep coming back.
It doesn't surprise me.
Captain Jay Rodriguez says his officers typically give solicitors a warning, but they are well beyond that with these fake fundraisers.
Now we know we need to be on the lookout for them again and do more enforcement and take them back to jail.
And his best advice for drivers? Stop giving these people money and keep calling law enforcement if you do spot them.
Since your story aired, I think that's really got some citizens concerned of like, look, I've donated money to this group and they can't even vouch for where the money's going. So without a doubt, in general, calls for panhandling are up, but specifically for this group.
Now, both Lee and Collier County have laws in place to prevent panhandling, but the only 2 arrests involving fake fundraisers this year were the 2 I just showed you that happened the same month that I reported these guys to FMPD. For the NBC2 investigators tonight, I'm Rachel Polanski.